Hello everybody and welcome to part 10 of my Salty Shaka series. At the end of the last part, we left one impy in a somewhat precarious position. Educated guess was that he's going to be fine, namely this guy, because between Bombard and this Hoplite, not entirely sure what's going to happen, but it looked like the Hoplite just blew himself up. Okay, he's saying he wants to go to war with Napoleon. Oh, goodness. It's tempting. France is on the border of Greece. Not that we were planning on going that far deep into Greece. Geographically, we had originally been planning on going after, America after Greece, but that was before we met France. We do know that compared to America, France is doing much better science-wise, so it would be a better idea to hit them earlier. On the other hand, America gets scarier earlier. The Minuteman is actually a thing to be considered. And France, according to Filthy Robot, is about as close as you can get to having a civ with no benefits at all. And I see where he's coming from. So, other things to consider is that France has the Great Wall, and yes, we have Buffalo up promoted impies, so we can offset that to some extent. But mostly I'm going to decline. There was something I was looking at off camera, and I didn't bring up at the beginning of this part simply because it's not quite clear yet if it's entirely an option. So I will cover that first here, now that Polynesia is sort of pushing the point. We've got some scouting to do here with Scouty, and this scout, we already knew of this pass-through because of the Indonesian archer we saw here. But what I was thinking of, we see mountains here, we see mountains here, and this one tile would not, especially a forested hill or jungle hill, would not be good enough. But if we can march north through here, if we look at the geography of the world, we can see that Germany has 3 cities. We can see borders up here, so I'm going to assume these are the 3 cities, which means Berlin is naked towards us and within his own empire. He's in the southwest, and that's where we would be coming from. So I was thinking, based on just what we can see, if we marched up from Athens, just knock Berlin off, so we have that capital. Then we could push through America, and who knows, maybe from there it makes most sense to march on Poland, onto France, onto Polynesia. As opposed to right now, if we push into France, it would go slower because of the Great Wall. And then where do we go? We go over to America? Well, Germany is a science leader too. So, yeah, I mean, these two are, side by side as far as that goes. Militarily, they're all pretty comparable. Everybody kind of is, except for Indonesia. Because that's kind of what I was touching on before, is we can put together a little sham army in the background while our main army is doing all this conquering and just go and take Indonesia, something we can't do yet because he hasn't yet developed his crabs. So we'd be at a happiness loss there. But because if we go in any one direction, there's an opportunity cost of everywhere else we could go. So I think just doing this like methodical march makes the most use of our resources, which is kind of important because don't forget, we are the Zulus. So while the impies are amazing, they're only good for so long, and then after that, where there's nothing special about our civ, we have to kind of ride on the coattails of whatever we've accomplished within that window. So that's part of the reason why I said no, even though going after France next, I mean, this scout would be sandwiched as we're at war, so there's that. If this is a proper coast, he would be limited to coming up through here. While we're trying to go through here, there'd be a traffic jam. So let him deal with that. We'll just stay on the path I just mentioned. Ooh, nice. Okay. For those who are new to the game of Civ, this is a very pivotal moment in an archer's arranged units path. You get to choose between range and logistics, so be able to shoot one tile further or being able to shoot twice in one turn. Now this has multiple benefits, one of which is that you can shoot and then move, something that's normally limited to like horsemen, for example. Now, if you're playing China, I would definitely recommend you take range, simply because the Chinese Chukanu has the ability to attack twice, and that does not stack with logistics, which I don't even know how it could, because you would need 3 movement points to pull that off, and you just don't have that. Any other time, as a general rule, you're going to have to decide for yourself given the situation, but as a general rule, I would say take logistics first. And the reason for that is if you're shooting twice, you're gaining XP twice as fast, which means you can have both of these promotions sooner if you take logistics first. And on the other hand, one scenario I can think of, I'll mention while it's on my mind, why you would take range is if you're about to hit the industrial era, where you're going to have Gatling guns where their range goes down to 1. Having the range means it's +1, so it's now 2, and Gatling guns are not quite so useless at that point. But we're going to go with logistics for the reasons I mentioned. We are the Zulus. We need less XP, so doubling up how fast we get that XP is great. As I said, we're going to go with medics for that. The more of these guys that have medics, the less we got to spend time saying, hey, are you the guy? Are you the guy? We can just have everybody heal up in place and just kind of understand that it's going to be taken care of. Oh, look at that. He didn't take the bait. Interesting. Okay, so we got a river tile in Nobamba. That's pretty good. This guy just finished up, so let me check something here. 11 turns until border growth. 15 turns until border growth, so he has time to hop up here. We'll cross the river and then get started. Because this guy, yeah, he still has 6 turns left, so it's not going to be for him. New camp has spawned, and this one's actually going to be far away from our territory. I guess this would be a good time to discuss another change in policy that I had in mind. We're already at a point where we need to throttle our culture gain, because if we do go straight for acoustics to get into early rationalism, we need to keep an eye on the relationship between these two metrics. So chasing down the distant camps is right out. And then the other thing that I was thinking about in terms of like how we're death squatting and backfilling and stuff like that, is that every city we take from now on, there's going to be a few things associated with it. Number one, it's going to make the rest of the world that much more upset with us, and therefore that much more likely to gang up on us. So we're going to need to protect our gains, number one. But also each of the city, like we were lucky that Beijing was right on top of our core empire. So now our core empire technically is 4 cities, including Beijing. So this is relatively easy. We got roads here. We can bounce back and forth. No big deal. But it's going to be unrealistic to build roads anywhere else. So each city is going to have its own standing little like defense team. And I was thinking, because the MP is so strong, having 1 composite bowman as the human monument and then 2 MPs per city. Because, like, okay, say in the case of Athens, we conquer it. Right now, population gets halved. It's at 4 pop, which means this city would be contributing 4 to our overall unit supply. And as it grows, that number goes up. And since we're only actually using 3 to man it, that's a net gain. For this reason, I'm thinking, especially now that we know this guy did not take the bait, that gives this MP time to get into a position where we can act on both of these tiles, which frees this MP and this MP to go to Greece. So what I want to do is I want to rename both of these Greece. And I was reminded to mention that because of this camp here. We're not going to chase after that. Like, once we've gotten into rationalism and we've got our people here, maybe we take some down there just to rack up some gold and extra culture. I don't see why not. But for now, let's just plan on having these guys be defense for Greece. Okay, so we've addressed that. Here is the proof of all the incense deals breaking. Just as a reminder, we had Sparta, 3 copies of incense, and we specifically we traded them off to get gold in the meantime, a little bit of gold in the meantime, with the intention of burning Sparta off at a time where these deals would show up as being canceled, so that when we take over Athens, this incense will not automatically be slotted into one of those deals. It will be ours to contribute to our happiness, and then we can decide if we want to sell it off or not. And this basically is a green light. You can now take Athens. That's how that is going to work. And look at this. Jerusalem desires gold. So Jerusalem was actually targeting a camp down here that got cleared by Cape Town, which was unfortunate, because between satisfying that quest and having 2 of its workers that we stole from them being liberated by us, we were going to seize them as an ally. And now it looks like that's going to come true either because of the gold or because of the worker, which means the other one will then put us way far in the lead in terms of rep with Jerusalem. So now we don't need this guy to hang around here. What we can do is actually help with the scouting efforts here because we need to clear this cloud out fast. We're probably going to take Athens this turn, and we need to make sure that marching north is an option so we don't just start sending our troops into nowhere. But I don't want this guy to end up on the hill because if he can see us from there, the chances that he'll actually step out are going to be diminished. I'm going to assume the AI will be able to see that this is +1 movement. But then I don't know. So anyways, let's just have him move, like, say, over here. Here would have been okay because we could just do that. But since the Great General's here kind of like unprotected, let's just have the most visibility near him. Similarly, he's going to come like this for the max visibility around the Great General. And we'll have him do a little bit of complementary scouting. Alright, so enough jibber jabber. Let's get to the meat of all of this. Alright, lots of units here, lots of stuff going on. So let's start with the workers. So we figure out which tiles can be pillaged. Because if we're going to take the city, we want to gain the most gold, heal the most up for our units. So it looks like this guy can pillage. This guy can now pillage. This is not our double tapper, so he has 1 movement point we can throw at a pillage. This tile is not healed, so this will probably be the impy that captures the city. And this tile can be pillaged. So I think that's all the pillages. And just a reminder, Rome's been spreading this religion that has the pantheon of winning a battle within 4 tiles gives you faith. So if we capture the city first and then kill off all these units, we're going to get a lot of faith from that. So let's try to do exactly that. There's 1 shot, 2 shot, and no, this is not a D12 song. 4 shot, 5 shot. Okay, and that brings it down to 1 health, which means we cannot lose a melee assault, which means this guy who has almost no health is free to capture the city. Get some gold. We'll say create puppet. We'll take a peek at it real quick. Granary's good. Shrine's okay. Mint, whatever. The amphitheater, not right now because we're still in resistance, but the amphitheater after 4 turns is actually going to be working against us. But to such an extent that probably won't matter. We want to remind everybody we are using the honor tree, so if culture gains a problem, we can step our human monuments out for a second and slow that down a little. Okay, so this guy pillaged already, right? So he has 1 fewer movement points than this guy, and if we move this guy 1, 2, 3, he can act as extra flanking on this. So let's attack this guy with this. Bam! Double red numbers because of spear throw first. There's the culture or the faith gain. Nice. So now we'll bring this guy over so we have the flanking I mentioned. We'll come over here. Nice. And I'm pretty sure this would be a 1-shot straight up, so with the flanking bonus, probably good. And I mention that because otherwise I would bring the Great General over. Actually, you know what? Since this is road, half, 1.5, wield our influence and then hop the river. That works. Just in case, you know, just to be safe, we can. We don't need to like march north because first of all, we don't have a definitive guarantee that that'll work, but also because if we do march north, I just want to remind everybody that because of the nature of MPs, I want to favor the composite bowmen. So we'll make all of our future decisions based on what the composite bowmen need. Since this guy's already pillaged, there's no point standing still. We can't heal, so we can start heading north-ish. Let's see, we'll get him in this little cubby here. Get eyes on city tiles, always helpful. Do a little dance, try and tease him, and that just leaves us with our spoils. Now, under no circumstances shall we sell this gold off because Jerusalem just said they wanted it. The incense is protected. That will does contribute to our happiness, and we apparently picked up some iron. And I just want to say for my own benefit, I want to try to recode this to get these ellipses out of here. It used to be there would just be a big line of icons, which yes is a little distracting, but we already saw one time in this series where a civ was actually interested in horses, but it wasn't immediately visible. And I don't want that to be the case. I always want to know strategic resources, because those are the ones we're almost always selling off everything we can. Alright, that's all he wants. And we can just test with the horse just to see. Alright, not the case. He's interested in our iron, and he's really, really upset with us, so we have to do a 3 for 2, the bottom of the barrel exchange rate for strategic resources. There we go. Gosh, I believe that's everything for this turn, so let's keep this party rolling. Wonder why Germany's units were coming down this way. We had witnessed a parade earlier, and we can see... Oh, did the bait get taken? Nice. Okay, I'm Gun Gun Love You loves the king, because we got pearls from making Jerusalem our ally as a result of taking gold, or getting gold in our trade network. So now when we liberate this, we'll have even more. And it looks like we got a lot of promotions to hand out, so we'll get to that. Alright, this is going to be our home defense composite bowman, which means this guy here, once we get this all wrapped up, should be the human monument over here. I don't want to designate one of these guys because they're all experienced. One's already a double tapper. And this will help bridge the gap between being composite bowman and crossbowmen. Because obviously as time marches on, composite bowmen are going to be a little less effective, so you know the ability to shoot twice is a great way to offset that. Okay, this will be medic 2 for this guy, which means in addition, all units in adjacent tiles heal 5 additional HP per turn. This unit heals 5 additional HP per turn when outside friendly territory. Okay, so it's not going to count in the city tile, but that's fine. He's in the city tile itself. Same thing here. He's in the city. So we'll have this guy heal and this guy heal. Medic will help him get 15 instead of just 10. This guy doesn't need to heal, but he is right next. Well, being next to a medic doesn't matter. Okay, so next we'll deal with this. Ooh, looks like that camp already respawned. It's a horseman, which is bad, because they have a good amount of culture associated with them. Return the unit. There we go. Now we are way, way, way liked by Jerusalem, which is nice. Especially since it's looking like we might not get the patronage opener. Hopefully we won't have to. Gold connected for Jerusalem. Jerusalem declares war on Alexander. Now we've had a full turn for the impact of taking his capital to settle in. So let's just see if he's ready to make peace, and if so, what he will offer. Argos at 4 pop. I'm guessing this is Argos. We can move him down here. Caravans. That's a good point. What if there's a caravan between him and... Is that worth chasing down? I think that's worth chasing down. We're on the cusp of... Yeah, so let's just take a quick peek before we go making... Oh, yes. Don't know what direction it's traveling in, but we know we can outrun it. So I guess we sit tight right here. Well, no, because if it is heading in this direction, it ends here. If we end up on this tile, 1, 2, pillage, good. This is the city tile, probably. So we'd be safe from bombard here. So let's go ahead and get that extra visibility. And then if it's heading this way, we can come up here. I don't want to delay making peace, but if, say, this guy comes at us, for example, yeah. Right now, the extra money would be very useful. So... And by keeping this scout over here, which he can see, maybe he delegates units to come in this way. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, let us stay at war one more turn. And this is double effective because we haven't quite cleared out this cloud yet. Looks like next turn will be the magic turn for that. We got 3 people working on it, so should have that wrapped up next turn. We'll have this guy start curling north just under the assumption. Likewise, we'll get this guy out of the way of the composite bowmen who have to cross the river now. Alright, looks like this guy's got to get out of the way of this guy, and then these two comfortably go 1, 2, across the river you go. Unfortunately, with these 2 hills, we're going to be slowed down. No use making plans yet until we know what that territory looks like. maybe have the Great General come here on this diagonal, because we already have a Great General. So we can take like a wide stance for the moment till we have a clearer picture. He doesn't need to heal, technically. Actually, because he's going to be a leader of the assault, he'll be in a position to heal up on site as we wait for everybody else to catch up, probably. So let's just have him do something like this, and that gives us more visibility. I still don't know what's going on with that, but so yeah, let's have him just do this like that, and we'll heal up. All right, I am confident with all those decisions. We got that camp down there, but these are going to be the defenders of Greece, so we'll just get into position here. Workers, that's something I wasn't thinking about. Let's see, wheat seems pretty important. Horses seems pretty important, and river farm seems pretty important. We'll eventually get it all cleaned up. In fact, we'll probably have one worker head towards Germany and such, but we actually technically have a worker that way. So maybe not. Alright, so it's one turn until education, so I don't think it much matters what we decide. I'll go ahead and say composite bowman, just because that's currently the gear we've been in, so I guess we'll just keep eyes on this. Maybe. Oh, you know what? I should have kept eyes on the caravan. Okay, so it's going back. Wow, everybody wants us to attack Napoleon. Don't you hate us for taking Greece's capital? Indeed he does. Alright. Well, it's good to know that everybody's hating on France, so that as we walk away from France, maybe something happens. Gajamata has completed the Oracle. What is this guy doing? He clearly doesn't want to play the game. Alright. Enough jibber-jabber. Education came here, so it's very, very, very important that we focus here. So number one, buy that. And growth in 2. Look at that. We take these 2 food away. It's still growth in 2. So before, when we were wrestling between this tile and this tile, and it said it didn't make a difference, for all we know, now it has made a difference. So that's one of the many reasons why I recommend just prioritizing the food. So there we go. Bought and filled. Of course, that means our production has gone down a fair amount from 22 to 16. So, you know, that's almost 28%. Give or take. What do we build here? What's our unit supply looking like? One more available. Okay. So... okay, let's just take a quick look at this. I hate the way the camera does that. We'll just highlight this guy so that doesn't happen anymore. Alright, we got an MP for Eastern Homeland Defense, an MP for Western Homeland Defense. This is going to be our Homeland Composite Bowman. So our home defenses are spoken for. We'll just go ahead and kill this off because we have to. It's right on top of our lands. Okay. Happiness is doing great. Okay. Now, we have 2 impies, this one and this one, that are going to be Grecian defense, which leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 impies to make the charge on Germany. That's probably good. If we need to backfill, we can. And of course, once we take Berlin, we're going to want 2 impies and a composite bowman to sit on it, probably. So yeah, let's probably just build an impy while we can. Yeah, I think that's probably right. If he calls for faith, we can just take a peek real quick. We haven't met everybody. There's still one more person out there. Don't know where they're at. Let's see. Faith is the 3rd. Faith gain. That's what we're looking at. Zulus by quite a bit. Alright. So we're likely to build that. And he builds the oracles and not workboats. So I don't even think this guy's trying to play the game. It's funny, too, when you think about it. He's got such a ripe capital, and yet we can't really take it, which is fine. The rest of the world has given us plenty of reason to go elsewhere. Okay, let's click on acoustics and let's have a quick discussion about that. This is looking for a construction project. Let's see, 1, 2, pillage, right? So he's got 1 movement point left. Greece was willing to offer us a city of 4. Oh wait, another one. Ooh. I hope it knows we're talking about the Grecian one. There we go. Very nice. Wow. Okay, so look at that. In a turn or two, we will have enough gold to purchase a university here as well, which is great because here's a jungle tile. We won't be able to comfortably man it right away, but once this grows again, we'll have the second pop for it. Or we can take a look at the timing, maybe pull off of this. How long is left on our caravan? 2 turns. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Actually, 1 turn, because look, it's 2 tiles away. So we will send that as a food trade route to Nobamba, because Nobamba's hurting because it was a late settle. I had talked about that before, but I'm glad we didn't, because the leeching of the science is why we're in this position now. So the science is somewhat lagging the culture. We can throttle the culture. We're going to ramp up the science. It's going to be touchy, but it looks like we're probably going to be in a good place. Which means in this city, the decision comes between Coliseum and Market. And I know our happiness is great now, but this city's gold intake is not that great because we're not going to be working the marble tile once we have the university. So that's 1 gold per turn, which means the market will add 1.25. Now it is a maintenance-less building, so that's a reason to build it. But nevertheless, Coliseum's better, and Coliseum is a requisite for a national wonder we would actually want to build if we ever have the opportunity to do so. So yeah, we'll have to remember in a turn or two to buy a university here. Don't let me forget to do that. So now would be the time to make peace with Greece, I think. We saw a trade route coming here, trade route coming here. We don't know. There could be another trade route here. Is it worth taking another turn? Probably not. We got what we came for. So, you still want to give us the city? Because we can use our happiness to take the city and just burn it down. Alright, let's see what he's wanting to do here. He is still willing to give us the city. Okay. Let's go for it. Normally, as you guys know, I don't take the city. I try to reap as much gold as I can, but he hardly has anything. He's got negative gold per turn. Let's see. Embassies. Whoa.
Suppose.
Really? Okay, I wouldn't have expected that. We got to view the city first. We got a shrine. Gold tile, that's good. Alright, so yeah, definitely raise. We can afford the happiness. And we will lock in the gold tile. We'll leave everybody unemployed. And we will sell off the shrine. There we go. And this is nice, because now we can just turn our back on this. We don't have to check in each turn. Yada, yada. Alright, so Scout has some scouting to do. Okay. And this MP has 1 movement point left. This is a medic. So, and he's got 2 turns to heal. This turn and next turn. So let's get this guy... there's no way to get him on top of that. Is there? No, there's not. What is your health at? So, yeah, we'll move here with the intention of moving here. No, we can't, because he's going to be healing. This is ugly. Oh, well. Luckily, it's not very important. So let's just take another look at Argos. It does have spices, which we can't count on because we're burning it to the ground. And it says we have duplicate spices, the other of which is with the deal from Polynesia that ends in 2 turns. So we have 2 spices now. 2 turns we'll have 1. 2 turns after that we'll have 0. Okay, so we'll finish that up. Finish that up. Finish that up. And just like that, this city is plenty viable on its own. Ooh, I like how it's going hard production. Nice. Okay, you're healing up. Alright, so the moment of truth. Let's get some eyeballs around here. Let's say. Let's It's going to take us 2 turns to get here anyway, so unfortunately, that's our answer here. This guy will have him go 1, 2. Ooh, look at that. Is it worth going to war to deprive him of a city? What's it doing way over here anyways? I guess this is one of the things you can expect to see on Raging Barbarians. Civilians way out of their league. Apparently there used to be a camp there. We got 1 movement point left, and this is a Grease defender, so maybe we hop on the hill here, and that way we come around here so we don't get him confused with the army that's actually marching in this direction. Like so. Oh, you know what? Before I just go randomly moving everybody. So yeah, we can see enough to know there is a way through. We just don't know how robust it is. Based on this river here and what we can see of Germany, it's looking like it might be ideal to push from the west/southwest. Because river here, river there. We need more. Oh, you know what? He still has a movement point. 2 movement points. Okay. There we go. That's what I want to see. And if he's coming up here, mountain, we can see everything. So he can actually start heading up this way because thanks to the river, there might be a gap in his borders here that we can squeak through. Okay. So yeah, there is, looks like at least 3 lanes we can come through here. Heavily wooded. Brussels, -9 rep. That's unfortunate. So what this means, I think, is that as we're marching, there will come a point where we can tribute them again. And I think we should try to avoid trespassing until we do, because if we trespass, the hate goes down and that window of opportunity closes up. So let's just go ahead and start occupying hexes and going from there. Are either of you medics? Nope. Okay. And they don't actually need to heal. So let's just zoom forward because we can. Great General here. Might as well land on a tile. So maybe have one guy come boom, boom. That gets us across the river. Yeah. Okay. And he's a Grease defender, correct? Yep. So we'll just cross the river there. Alright. Looking good. And we are at the half-hour mark. So I'm going to call it here. I know we didn't get much accomplished this part. We did take Athens. We got a meta idea established. So I think this is a good time for me to hand it over to you guys so you can give me your thoughts. Maybe there's something I'm missing out on. And then also it's very, very important to me that I remember this. Luckily it's going to be next turn. And it looks like, I don't know if did we pillage or something? I don't know. I thought we were going to need 2 turns, but either I already passed the turn and forgot, or we made some money somewhere. I don't know. Clearing the camp, was it? Yeah, that was probably it. Okay, good deal. Cool. So next turn, and ending the part here just before that increases my likeliness to remember that because I'll enter that with a fresh brain. So thank you guys for joining me. Leave a like if you feel I've earned it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next part. Take care.